we are a great team because we are really different.
Sometimes a rewarding job and sometimes a lot of headaches.
We're coming home at 7 p.m. to see your kids, but you were still on the emails, you were still answering the phone calls, and you were still trying to figure out what should you do to get what you need to be done. Our kids, they have a great example of working parents. I think they learn a lot from us. They see how hard we work, they see how much time it takes, they know how to volume money. As I said, the accounting team that prepares all the documents for us to see, plus they can explain you what is this, what is that. Always when you have a question, you can give a call and you will get the best answer possible.
First and foremost, welcome officially to the podcast studio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today.
No worries, my pleasure. And like we talked, this is going to be focusing more on who you truly are. So for us to get started, tell us a little bit about Anastasiia, Lotus, a little bit about who you are and where your company is today.
Hi everyone, my name is Anastasiia Karasevych. I am the owner of a full truck service repair shop here in Mississauga. It's Lotus Logistics Incorporated. We started Lotus in 2021, right in between of COVID closures. We were there. And going strong. We're working. We have still many things to do, but it's been a bit of a journey, I would say.
Definitely. And it's interesting you brought up 2021 out of all the years for businesses to start, but we know in trucking, things were booming and things were really good in the industry at the time. But before we focus on the truck itself, what made you get into the industry of trucking and let alone truck repair and in 2021 as your entrepreneurship journey?
That's a very interesting question because I've never imagined myself working in an industry like this. I actually, let's start from the beginning. I came to Canada and I pursued the education in the college and I got the early childhood educator diploma. And I started working in the daycare as registered TCE, which I actually really liked. I really enjoyed my workplace, my coworkers. Working with kids was really rewarding at the time. However, the COVID hit, and we just got stuck at home. And my husband, he was working as a truck technician, and so he is a person who is always on the go. Who always wants more, who wants to develop and just keep going. So his plan was to open a repair garage. And then, it just went like this. I wanted to spend more time with my family because he was working as a mechanic. He sometimes was on the road for 20 hours. He came home for like 3 hours to get some nap and off he goes.
Yeah.
And I was home with a child, which didn't really work for a family.
Yeah.
So when we started talking about my future career, we decided why not give it a try? I would help you with whatever I can help. And that's how I ended up in the trucking industry. And still here.
Now, on those early days, a lot of people sometimes struggle to get started or sometimes struggle to manage the work life. We can call it balance, but we know that in today's age, there's not much of a balance between the two. So how did you, as husband and wife, and obviously starting a business, manage to get things off the ground at that time? And would you change anything if you could go back?
I wouldn't think I would change anything. And I can say that for us, it was a big of a hustle because with the time we just learned how to deal with each other. We knew what kind of people we are. We know our reactions. We know our needs. And, just if you want to be with a person, you want to make a person happy, and the person wants the same for you, you can work together perfectly fine.
Yeah. And it's great that you mentioned those points, not just from your personal side, but also as a business. Obviously, we're talking 4 years now, going to 5 years of business. And now, at the level that you operate today, did you apply some of those skills as husband and wife, but also into your business to grow the team that you have today and the success you have today? Or you think that where the company is today came mainly from skill and grit?
I think we are a great team because we are really different. So he is pretty much on the go. He is always on the floor. He is a licensed mechanic, so he knows what he's doing there in the garage. He knows how to manage the team greatly. He knows how to hire, who to hire. They say hire slowly, fire quick.
Yeah.
So he knows how to do that. In my case, it's more of a soft skills.
Okay.
I work behind the scenes. I work inside of the office, and I deal with a little bit of a different type of business, I would say. It's because I can't say for 100% I work in the trucking industry because I work a lot with the paper, it's just really different. But yeah, we are a team and we bring different set of skills in our business, and that's how it really works for us because we know how to support each other, and we have a great team behind us. That's what really matters.
Yeah. And then I like your point about hire smart, fire fast that you mentioned when it comes to building a team. But most importantly, a lot of people think that, okay, I'm going to open a truck repair shop. I'm working with truckers and in the trucking industry. And like you said, you're in a whole different role, almost like a different business being up in the office.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we get in business thinking, okay, this is what the business is, but then you quickly realize it could bring you back to your initial skills of working with kids, working with people, caring for those, and being able to scale the business to where it is today. So in that dynamic, aside from the shop, tell us a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis and how did that change from you starting the business and probably being very limited as a team to where you guys are today.
When we came to Lotus, it was like a phoenix bird. We had to start from the scratch, and the company had a bit of a rebirth. So we had to do all the accounts. We have to get all the right equipment. We have to gather a great team. We had to find customers. We had so much things to do. And at that time, people who were working there, they were fully focusing on everything. We didn't have a strict set of duties for each of us. And then with the time, we got the parts guy doing strictly what he has to do. We had my husband who is managing the shop from the inside. And myself, I'm more of a bookkeeper. I also am the one who works with customers. So I am the customer service in Lotus Logistics. And we definitely, everyone have a own set of duties. And of course, we can support each other, and sometimes we have to back up each other. But for the most part, I'm working in the office. I'm dealing with the people and with papers.
That's sometimes a rewarding job and sometimes a lot of headaches as well. But going back to that first year of business, you talked about people having to wear many hats, which is where a lot of businesses start. You might be in the office, down in the shop, working together to just make it through, get more customers, deliver on your service, and continue to scale the business. So in that first year, what would you say was a big struggle for you as a company, and how did you overcome that to get to where you are today?
Oh, so many. I remember the time with a shiver, but with excitement at the same time because you see the outcome now. It was hard from the beginning because when we came to Lotus, we had the name, we had the location, but that's pretty much it.
And the overhead cost.
Yes, and the overhead cost, of course.
Yeah.
Let's mention this once again. Because when you get a business, when you buy a business from a previous owner, the customers, they don't usually come over to you, and the team who works, they don't usually come over to you. So we had so much things to do. It took time. It definitely took time, and it was hard to find the right team. And we've been having so many people working for us, and finally, by now, I would say that we have an amazing team. We're so proud of each and everyone who works for us. Those people are skilled, they're professional, they know what they're doing, they're reliable. We really appreciate each and everyone. Second, of course, finding a customer. So hard, and even nowadays, right now it's different because, people are talking. We have reputation already, so we don't have much problem with that anymore. But at the time when we just started, my husband, he had his customers, but saying that right now, we have the full service garage and we have this, and this to offer, and people are servicing in a different location. It takes time for people to get used to it. It takes time to transfer. It's a process.
Yeah.
That's, many problems on the way. And some days you were coming home at, 7 p.m. to see your kids, but you were still on the emails, you were still answering the phone calls, and you were still trying to figure out what should you do to get what you need to be done. And usually you have the timeline. It was really hard.
Yeah. And I think for you, it's a double-edged sword because you're also very great at working with kids, and that's the background that you come with. But at the same time, you're so limited to how much time you can actually allocate to that family. Now, in that time of you building the business and having to work between the two, do you think you've missed out on some things on your personal life for the sacrifice of the business? Or you think looking back, you can still manage to say that you've been able to keep up with both family and business?
When people are saying about this work-life balance, for me, it's non-existent. Because today, my work requires me 100%. So I will do whatever it takes for me to have stuff done and to fully do whatever I need to do. The other day, my child is having a graduation at school, and it's at 12 p.m. The middle of the day. So What can I do? I have to go there. Otherwise, 5 years later, she's going to be, Mom, you did not attend. I remember that. And it happened to me before.
Yeah.
Because at that time, Lotus needed me more. There's no balance. Honestly, you just juggle. Do I regret? Not at all. And also, I think that our kids, they have a great example of working parents. I think they learn a lot from us. They see how hard we work. They see how much time it takes. They know how to volume money. They know that they need to get the education and why they need it, which is important. Because right now as well, you see with the social media, it seems so much easy just to get there and start getting your money. But I still believe that you need to get an education to succeed in life.
Yeah.
Because it gives you the set of skills that nothing else can probably.
Yeah.
At least in this short amount of time. That's my opinion.
Definitely.
Yeah, but there is no balance.
No.
Absolutely.
Never work-life balance.
You just have to keep showing up, here and there, and it really depends.
Yeah.
One day is better than the other, but there's not much you can do.
Yeah, and I think it's important. You mentioned on the previous podcast I did, we also talked about education and how we still value very much. And I think in today's generation and the younger generation today, like you said, they have so much access to social media, to data, to opportunity to make money. And a lot of times they go to school and they forget the true meaning of school. And it's not really what we learn in school from
Yeah.
our experience. It's being able to adapt to a system and being able to come out of a system and find opportunities, which is what the business world requires us to do anyway. So I do agree with you on that point that the example of hardworking, adapting to an ever changing industry world that we live in is definitely a bigger lesson than anybody can learn in a classroom. Now, you mentioned coming to Canada. Was that how many years before you started the business in 2021, or did everything happen pretty quickly in those early stages?
We came in Canada, and again, I was pursuing the education, which
Mm-hmm.
was my third education actually. I've
Wow.
got 2 degrees from back home, and my husband, though, he started his entrepreneurship pretty early because I think that's just his
Yeah.
personality. He has to do something, and he has to do it by himself.
Yeah.
So we started pretty early, but I fully immersed into business in 2021.
Got it. So very early, probably one of your first experiences. Now, I don't know if you knew, but there's a Statistics Canada that says only 19% of businesses are owned and controlled by women in today's day and age. And if we bring that into trucking, only 16% of the whole trucking industry are currently women. And then if we look at positions like yourself today, it's down to 4% and less. So having those stats and looking back since 2021, do you see that as a driving factor for your success today, or is your focus for business success in something else?
You know, it's interesting. Being in a male dominated business is a whole different story. And I would never imagine myself being in the trucking industry. I actually, you know, before going to college, I really wanted to starting a beauty business. That was my plan.
Yep.
Never happened. However, being a woman in the trucking in the repair business, that's there are pros and cons, I would say. First, people might be coming to the office, and for example, suppliers are coming to the office, and they're like, "Oh, may I speak with the owner, please?" And the mechanic is standing behind, and he's like, "There she is." And the tone changes right
Yeah.
away, and you might get some couple of questions, but you see the surprise in the eyes, which is fine. Vice versa, there are some situations when people they just can't accept it. I would say they want to talk to a man.
Yeah.
They think the man would understand the issue better, and you know what? I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't want to prove anything to anyone because I'm the only one to prove to myself. So I'm just doing my work. I have a great team behind me, and that's how it works for us.
Definitely. And a video I saw earlier today from Dan Martell, he's one of the author in the book Buy Back Your Time. And he said there's only two opinions you have to factor in. And it's the opinion of your 8-year-old self and you looking back and realizing what would my 8-year-old self think about where I am today. And the second opinion is the 80-year-old self of if I look into the future, where do I want to be with where I am today? So I want to take that point and move it over to you, looking back to that younger self, somebody who wanted to go into beauty, completely different from the trucking industry. And then you look back into that time. Do you think you've made yourself proud of where you are today?
Oh, absolutely. I actually really like what I'm doing. I love my place, and I wouldn't change anything.
It's
I
awesome.
definitely wouldn't change anything, especially with that much effort that I put into it. I just think that we have to move ahead. We have so much more things to do, and we have so many new ideas that we want to implement. No regrets, not at all.
Definitely. And if we look forward now, we don't have to go to 80 as that's going to be quite a few years for us to look into. But looking into the next 5 to 10 years, or even where Lotus is today at 7 figures as a shop, is never easy because of the employees, the team, the overhead, the expenses on your supplies, your
Yep.
labor, and your parts, and then let alone being able to scale it to that volume in 4 years is something that a lot of people can't achieve. But where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years to scale the business? Is it going to be more services? Is it a bigger location? Is it diversifying? What do you got in mind?
That's actually our plan. We are aiming to expand. We would love to open more locations, and I'm talking about the whole Canada. That's definitely the plan, and it just takes time because you have to plan everything really carefully. But we don't see ourselves just staying where we are right now. You know that if you want to develop, if you want to grow, you have to run. Because if you're going to be walking, eventually you'll end it up, somewhere in the back.
Yep.
We understand this, and, trucking, even though right now is a hard time for trucking, but the times are really, how to say it? Everything is evolving.
Yeah.
You have to grow. You have to adopt all the technologies that are coming. And we really want to expand as much as we could. And we have a plan. It's
Awesome.
just maybe not something that I would love to talk about right now.
Definitely.
Never say, something before you do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a cool mentality that you have. Never say something before you do it. And we've heard it in the past. When you look back from the very start of business 2021 to now being where you are, do you find that that is something that you carried throughout all the years? Every time you're looking to expand, to hire, to grow, to add services, did you always keep it in a tight circle before you portray that message out to your public, your customers?
For the most part, yes. But sometimes you need to put this information out,
Plant
to
the
the
seed.
world,
Yeah.
because again, networking is a huge, huge part in business. It really helps. It really works, and you don't underestimate it. But the plan, it has to be a plan right here before you implement it, and then you say, "Hey, look what I've done." That's cool, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, very rewarding when you do it that way versus a lot of times in business, it's a very lonely sport, as a lot of people say it. But not only being lonely is when you share your ideas and it's too early, you often get more negative energy back that often pushes you backwards, like you said. It starts to slow you down and sometimes doesn't allow you to take those next steps.
You know what's interesting about us, about our team? We do not compete. I know it sounds a bit, what do you mean you don't compete? But we actually don't. And we have a couple more repair units just in our building. We do not compete with them. We work with them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people from the next units are coming and they're like, you know what, we need these diagnostic tools. We know that you have it. Can you please do this and this for us? Can we hire you as a subcontractors? Yes, you can. Absolutely. We would love to help you. And sometimes we might need something from our colleagues, and they're willing to help as well because they know that it's rewarding. And in our case, we never forget the good things that people are doing. So, it's not about the competition. It's about co-working. It's about to make the industry in general better.
Yeah.
Because you know that repair trucks, it's it's not just greasing and engines. It's so much more, because if you think about it, we protect the public.
Yeah.
Because all these trucks and trailers are going on the roads, and we're driving our cars with our kids there.
Yeah.
So we are protecting the public. We are protecting the companies. We want to keep them on the go. And the companies, the ones that are delivering the food to the supermarkets. So, being a service repair shop is so much more than just doing the repair for this particular truck.
Yeah, I love how you position yourself that way, because a lot of times we devalue what our true impact is in the industry, and like you said, it may look like a repair shop, but the repair shop is what's keeping the road safe. It's what's making sure accidents are not happening on the highways. It's delivering those goods to the final destination, and that carries not only dollar value but also long-term value to our community, to our country. And I think it's very important to focus on that. Now, in those operations, to be successful, you mentioned the skill and the employees, and having a great team has helped you get to where you are today. But also comes a side of tech and being able to manage all the moving parts in trucking. Not only each equipment, but a business always has a lot of moving parts. So do you find that over the years you've had to adapt to technology in your shop? And is there anything that you find that you'll continue to do to be able to scale to different locations, different teams working together?
Technologies, I would say, is a huge part of our daily operations. And we're definitely aiming to adapt more, and we're looking into this. But just look at our everyday life. We use the software for our accounting, which makes our life so much easier and helps us to do the things so much better. Invoicing, you can do it in a click of a mouse, right? So much easier than the shop management software. It helps with the efficiency of the whole garage. It helps with, for example, it helps you to show the customer the estimate cost in a couple of minutes, I would say in 15 minutes, instead of 2 hours, where you have to look into the cost of each part, each labor that has to be done. It's so much more efficient. Are we looking to adapt more? Absolutely. And we are working with major suppliers. And our garage, we have diagnostic tools from basically each supplier that we can get it from on the highest level that we can get, which is also really beneficial, because the diagnostics that we can do, we're almost like, what do you say? You will have to cut it out. Give me the word. The dealer.
Yeah.
Because the problem is with the dealer, you have to bring the truck there, you have to make an appointment, you have to leave the truck for 1 week, 2 weeks. But we've been hearing the stories about 2-3 months.
Wow.
And sometimes nothing was done. In our case, we have the same tool, we have the same diagnostic tools, and we can do it right away. Of course, we also want the customers to understand that because we adopt the technologies and we want to be efficient, something has to be done from their side. For example, proper scheduling.
Yeah.
We need heads up before the customer is coming. Or if we are doing the fleet maintenance, we do it in our pace. For example, we have 100 trailers. We know that, for example, 2 trailers per day have to be done. And that's how we go. But planning is a huge component of efficiency, and AI really, really helps us with that.
That's awesome. And I think time is always our biggest factor, not just for a shop to be as efficient as possible, but from your client's perspective, to get that truck, that trailer back on the road and be able to actually keep their business moving forward instead of losing 2-3 months.
Yes,
So
that's right. And sometimes we have a customer of ours coming at 5:30 p.m. saying that, you know what, I was just driving past and I got the engine check and I can't go like this because, I can get a ticket. Can you please at least check it out so I know if I can go to a long trip or I should do something right away? And we can stay over time. We get our diagnostic tools whenever we need. We have it done, and that's how it goes.
That's awesome. Now, from your current team and your current business, do you find that a lot of your current success is coming from recurring clients, or are you always looking to bring on new clients and new businesses for you to support their growth and their mission?
Well, definitely, we're always looking for new clients, but we at the same time have our old time clients who love to come to us, who refer their peers to us, which we really appreciate. And because we are evolving and we are expanding our team, definitely we're looking for the new clients. But we've been lucky enough because people are talking good things and people are coming. People are getting known us, and sometimes we hear like, you know what, I've been driving Shawson Drive for the past 5 years. I never knew that you guys were here, and now I'm coming. The first thing that people are usually saying, it's so clean here. It's so well organized here because, we have someone who is taking the truck. We have a team member who is taking the notes of what has to be done. Everything is done step by step. It's not just, the client himself brings the truck into the garage, then he spends half a day in the garage, has his meal there. It's totally different. We want to have this routine, which people are know already. They, I would say, abide, but it works for them as well because they know that the repair is gonna last like 5 hours. I have 5 hours on my hands. I can go somewhere. I will return and stuff will be done. Because I know that in some places, they might spend these 5 hours just standing behind the mechanic's backs and saying them what to do, which is not the perfect picture.
Yeah, and I think a lot of businesses sometimes struggle, we can say, to put their foot down and have that process in place. And I know us as a firm, when we started, our process was definitely a lot different. People like to drop off boxes, papers, just throw everything at the accountant, like you said, just drive the truck right in and watch over them until it's done. And we've built a process that creates efficiency, like you said, in the team, but also from the client perspective gives expectation of where are we right now, how long is it going to take, and what are we going to achieve in that time. Now, at this time of day, definitely you have everything packed down, but when you started, did you find you struggled to have a system in place, or from day one you always had a system in place? Because you mentioned at the start people wore many hats, and sometimes it's tough to have a process in place when the same person is doing every step of the process. So how did you evolve your business into where it is today? But it gives us a little bit of how it was at the very start.
It was definitely a process because we had the vision of how we wanted the things to be, but it was really hard to put it in life because you have, for example, 10, 15 people to deal with, plus the customers, and you have to explain to everyone. You know how many meetings we had with the team to explain our expectations, to put our policies in place. The workplace policies, they shouldn't be underestimated because that's crucial. That's how get the things, done and started. It definitely takes time, but you have to be assertive. You have to keep doing, keep explaining, and with the time, people are getting used to it, especially if it's a team just like ours. It's a team of young professionals who love what they're doing. They love the place they're working in, and they want this place to be better. That's why in conjunction it all works in our benefit.
Awesome. And going back to you in that leadership position, did you find that you had to carry a lot of the weight of pushing the guidelines, pushing the standards of the company? Or was your husband in the front line, in the team, also a big factor in making sure that the team, because I know when you're up in the office, sometimes you have so many moving parts in the office that you lose track of where the team is. So do you find that dynamic had to work side by side for your success?
It was definitely my partner, my husband, who dealt with this, especially considering the fact that I got a second baby 2 years ago, and I've been working since day 4 after her birth. I was bringing her to the office for the first 9 months. The first 9 months of her life she spent in the office with me. And then we got a nanny, thanks God. But yeah, he was the one who took everything on his shoulders. And at the same time, we got the team members who knew that we needed them just like never before, because I was away for longer than usual, and we needed them. They knew it, and they helped us out. So it's always a teamwork. I would say in business, you have to make sure that you surround yourself with people who are on the same page, who have the same pace, and who want to be better and to get in a better place, so you can guys, build a better future together.
Yeah. And I think that's three key pillars that you mentioned that are very important in business, not just as an owner, but somebody who might be in that employee world that they want to get involved in, let's say, your truck repair shop. I think online we get sold so often of work-life balance and 8 to 4, of 9 to 5, and this is how you live life and get through the next 30 years. But like you said, if you don't have those three pillars to be able to help a business scale and provide value back to a business, a lot of times you start to not be the right fit. And that's not because you maybe haven't done everything that you're supposed to do, but a business and its employees is what brings everything together for the success of everybody, not just the owners, the company itself, them. They must have goals and be able to want to achieve those goals, which everybody will achieve that together. And you mentioned a pretty cool point is I had a call earlier this week of a lady asking me about maternity leave if she's self-employed, and it made me remind of your situation of once you have that baby, day 4, you're already back in the office. You have to keep things going. Now, in that point of not much, let's call it government support or a way out, does that pressure you, or does that just drive you to achieve even greater things because you know you have no pretty much fallback plan?
I would say both. There was definitely a pressure because, not gonna lie, it was really hard. However, I really wanted things to be done. I really wanted to keep going because I knew that there is a team who rely on me as a business owner as well. And I have the set of duties that I do for them, and things just have to be done no matter what. So I really wanted to keep working, and my baby, she's pretty good, so she allowed me to come to work, and she was there with me. Things were fine. Also, I think it's your mindset. If you allow yourself to do it, if you think in your mind that it's possible, you can do it, you will do it. But if you have many reasons to say no to come into the office and waking up at 7 a.m. every morning, no matter what, sometimes it's like 5 a.m. I would say 7, okay. Yeah, then when it starts to get really harder, because you have to set up a goal. If you have a goal in your mind, no matter how hard it is, you will just keep moving, and eventually you'll get to the point when you don't have to push yourself. It's just the way you do it, and you can do it any other way.
Yeah. Now, do you find going back to starting the company 2021, and we were going through politically, and the world was going through a lot at that time, do you find that you started the business because of the mindset you have today and the passion you have? Or do you think that evolved over the 4 or 5 years of just clocking in? We can call it clocking in, but we're just 24/7, but just making every day count. And even though some days are good, some are not, you just kept pushing every single day to get to where you are today. So do you think that passion and that mindset came at the very start, or something you've developed?
We started Lotus with this mindset already, because if you start something big like this, you don't want to fail. And you make a choice in your mind that I'm just going to do this. I know it's going to be hard. I know it will take time, but I will try and I will do my best. And with the time, when we got our amazing clients, we have some incredible clients who we're really, really grateful for. And we have the team that we're working with. You just can't do it any other way, because you have to show up for each of them. Everyone relies on you. You rely on them. It's a big ball that just keeps rolling. So I don't see any other way to do it.
Yeah. No, I think we get this vision of quick money, quick business, being able to succeed pretty quickly from what we see on social media and everybody in our network. But this morning I saw the post of where Amazon started and where Amazon is today. And you're looking at decades. You're looking at 20, 30 years of operating to get to where they are today.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to highlight that the growth is not going to happen in a year, 2 years, 4 years. You're 4 or 5 years in, and you still got decades ahead to get to where you envision for your company. Now, where you are today comes with bigger problems than obviously when you started, but the problems just continue to grow. And one of the big ones at 7 figures is often cash flow. Now, you as a business owner, how do you manage making sure enough is coming in to what's going out? And now that we're in an economy where a lot of pressure is being put from the client side, from the supplier side, wanting to be paid quickly, and then the customer wanting to delay the payments to you. What's your strategy to manage a tough time like today and still be able to invest what you need to invest into your growth and succeed?
If you would ask me this question a year ago, 2 years ago, the answer would be totally different. But with everything that's happening in the trucking, in the economy in general right now, yes, there is actually a bit of a struggle, because everyone is struggling. The whole industry is under big pressure, and the clients are having a hard time paying off the statements in time. So you have to prioritize. You have to prioritize. You have the salaries to pay. You have the lease to pay. You have the suppliers who have to be paid. And then the rest of the expenses. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you have this safety pillow. Otherwise, it's going to be just, you're going, nowhere without it. Because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We aim to build Lotus, and, we want to strive as much as we can. But at the same time, with everything that's happening, we understand that at this time, you have to play safer.
Yeah.
So in the long term, you won't get any regrets.
Yeah. I think some people are always focused, oh, if my company is not growing, then I'm not succeeding. But like you said, in the time everybody's feeling it this year and the previous years coming up to this year, is that just by not quitting and just maintaining everything alive is what's going to be paying off long term for you as a company, versus you trying to make a big investment, over leverage yourself today. And like you said, that safety pillow is gone, and now you have nothing to fall back on.
That's
for the
right.
company.
Plus, you have to plan really carefully, because sometimes some expenses they can be postponed. For example, we want to get a new balancing machine or we want to get a new alignment machine. We have to plan carefully.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have these expenses that have to be done right away, and you have to make sure that you can afford it. It's really hard, and the customers, they're struggling as well. And if before it used to be 30 days net, right now it's 60, sometimes even over 60 days. But you don't want to push too much because you have the relationship, right, with the company. You understand what's happening, and you know that you are in their priority list as well. So whenever they get a chance, you will get paid. You will get paid for sure, but you have to wait, and you have to understand that we're all in the same boat. So yeah, just I would say plan carefully, and just don't quit, because hopefully the better times are coming.
Definitely. It always does. The
Yeah.
economic cycle always goes back up, and we just have to work through the downturns for now. But if we focus now into Lotus and let's say 10 years from now, what do you envision clients saying about your brand in 10 years if you could look that far?
We would be a reliable service provider who would be able to provide all kind of necessary services, to cover all kind of needs in trucking and trailer repair. And we'll do whatever it takes for us to get there. And yeah, we just want to do our best. We want to grow. We are definitely seeing getting new locations. That's a plan, not gonna lie. So slowly but surely.
That's awesome. And when it comes to reliability, comes with scaling, and you're always adapting. And I think that's very important in an industry that is ever evolving, not just from the management side and all the technology that's coming up, but even the autonomous side of the industry and the drivers and the trucks coming up. So in the next decade, do you think you'll ever see a truck come by your shop that has no driver inside?
You know, even though I see the technologies are taking over, I don't think we're there yet.
No.
Not just yet. Maybe 20 years.
I think 20 years is fair. And
I think we're going to start with the electric trucks. It's coming, and we see some on the roads. But as well, you have to learn how to work with it.
Yeah.
Because right now I know that the fueling of the new trucks is still a big issue, because the infrastructure is not ready for it yet. It will take time. It will take lots of time for government to get things done, to get all these stations ready for the electric trucks. After that, we'll talk about the self-driven ones.
Yeah.
But it will take time for sure.
Definitely. I think it'll take, like you said, 15, 20 years minimum to have the self-driving. But I think, like you said, there's still so many steps before then. And I think if we were talking about a year, 2 years back, there's all this talk about autonomy and self-driving and electric vehicles. And I think we've put a pause because, like you said, the infrastructure. We can dream of a self-driving truck, but if they can't charge themselves, if it's going to take them a week to charge that truck or 3 days to charge that truck, 3 days could be a load to 5 loads, depending how many units you got stopped charging in your station. So it's definitely a lot of things to think about. Now, aside from Lotus itself and going more into your operations, what would you say is a tool that you can't survive without? As a business, as somebody managing a business, if there's one thing that you have to rely on every single day, or your team, what do you think would be something that currently is a big factor in the business?
I can't name only one because we are, a big organism that has many, many organs to it that are vital. But I would say it's shop managing software. Second, I would say that's our accounting team for sure, because accounting team is crucial just to make sure that you have everything done right in time, that everything is done by the book, and of course you have to trust the team to be sure that everything is done in the way possible way, so you're all nice and clean. These two, definitely.
Yeah, I think those two are probably what led to a lot of success. And I think when companies start up, and we see this all the time when we deal with new clients or smaller clients, they always get so stuck on what that monthly rate is of the services that they overlook the value that they get from organized books and knowing where your business stands. So for you to manage your business today, is there any metrics you have to look at every single day to make sure that you're on the right track? And how did you do that over the years?
We definitely track the numbers using the software. We use QuickBooks, we use Fullbay. Yeah, those are great tools that help you to see all the numbers. Plus, you can see the inventory that you have. It's a great tool. But also, again, as I said, the accounting team that prepares all the documents for us to see, plus they can explain you what is this, what is that. Always when you have a question, you can give a call and you will get the best answer possible, which I really, really appreciate. It makes my life so much easier.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think that's a big factor that we try to enforce in our company too, is as we evolve so much into, we were talking before, the AIs, the agents, the technology that can help us save time. But what truly makes a company different is that human connection. At the end of the day, it's that final call, it's that final filing. It's the walkthrough of the tax filing to have that connection and help business owners drive that business forward.
I would say with the AI involvement, you get to cherish people even more.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are saying that, not just our industry, but overall, as AI takes over so much in our life and industries, it's going to make us go back to that true human connection and
Back to
things that
basics.
to us was normal living every single day. Now it's going to be cherished because we see so many things taken away that we get to now focus on what we truly do business for, which you mentioned is the truck drivers, the people behind the wheel. It's the businesses driving our economy forward. And in that point, I want to move over to you and tell us, how can they get in contact with yourself, with your business, and just the best way to stay in touch with the great things you guys are doing?
That's pretty easy to do. We always have our phone, our office phone, plus we quite often are available after hours because we have a couple of mobile units that are always ready to service the clients outside of the office hours.
Nice.
That's how we started, and it's going pretty strong. Plus, I'm actually working on the website right now with the help of AI, not gonna lie, which I found is a great tool because I can do it myself and I can put my envision into life. Because before you had to explain someone and it was going back and forth with emails, I want to see this, this, and this, and then you have to explain it many times. But now I have a tool to do it myself, which I'm really, really excited. So the website is coming.
Nice.
And yeah, we're just always here. Monday to Friday, 9 to 6, and quite often outside 9 to 6 as well.
Beyond that for emergencies,
Yes.
yeah. And that's awesome. I think even M7's website has evolved every single year, and every single year we have something to update on the website. Just like you said, you're taking away that middle factor of how do I position my message over to somebody else to be able to deliver on that. And I think AI has truly helped us be able to take everything that we envision and be able to tailor to our company. So as soon as that website is live, send it over to us. We'll be able to
Yep.
get the eyes on the website too. And I just wanted to say thank you for the time you took out of your day. I know it's busy. There's a lot of moving parts with the newborns. I know it's not easy. And we appreciate everything that you've built with us since the very start of Lotus, probably one of our longest standing clients. And I think the one that has succeeded quite the most over the last 4 years. And we can't wait to see all the success we get to accomplish together going forward.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the invitation. I really appreciate for considering me. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to our next 10, 15, 20 years together.
Yep.
I think it's going to be so much fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matthew.